Daily cycles here with an update on September the 14th. Here's my 3.5 year cycle, and this red scenario here was what I was expecting from the top in February, and obviously that has not played out. And this rally from the April panic lows is just extreme, and it almost feels like the rally after the COVID crash. But this should be two entirely different situations, in my opinion. And that's because of where we are in the 3.5 year cycle. So you see, we are in this rising trend channel since the financial crisis, which started a new 28 year cycle, and a new 28 year cycle, and the top of this 28 year cycle, I am expecting it to be right now, but it could be at the next 3.5 year cycle top. That would be around 2028, 29, and of course if we go back to the previous 28 year cycle top, that was in year 2000. So if you add 28 years, well, then you get to 2028. But it's not that easy, because the previous 28 year cycle top was kind of a late top, a very extended, euphoric late top. So this time I was expecting a top a little bit earlier, but I may be wrong. So, I think at best in this situation, or, well, when I'm saying at best, it's because I'm bearish. But I don't think we will get anything more bearish than a drop down around the April lows, and then we begin the next bull market into that 2028, 29 top, and that could or should be at least a major 28 year cycle top and the 56 year cycle top. So you see this rising trend channel. We normally reach the top of the channel at the end of the bull market, and now we actually are retesting the top of the channel once again, but at a higher level. And this is happening at a late point in the 3.5 year cycle. If we go back to the previous top, you see that topped a little bit earlier, and the current situation, well, that was around the shoulder in March 2022. And then we have this previous, or the next bull market top. Well, actually that one topped exactly where we are right now. And then this COVID crash, in my opinion, was not supposed to happen. This low in 2018, that should have been the bull market low, and we should have done this. And the COVID crash should not have been there. Therefore, it rallied so strong, because there was no cyclical reason for this crash. So it was an anomaly. If we go back to this bull market high, you see that happened pretty much exactly where we are right now. And let's have a closer look at exactly that. So here you see at what point in the 3.5 year cycle is the bull market high. And here I'm going back to 1948. You can almost see a cycle within this. So we had a tendency for late tops in the 1950s, and then a tendency for early tops in the 1960s. Then we have late tops in 1980, 1990. Then we have early tops, year 2000-ish, and now we are a bit in the middle. So I have put this point, if the bull market high was previous week, but I don't think that's the case. But we are in the area where the recent bull markets have topped, but you could easily go for another couple of weeks. And how deep are these bear markets? after that bull market top? Well, we are here now, and you see other bear markets that began at this point, they normally had less than 20% downside. So the February top was back here somewhere, and that is where where we had these deep bear markets earlier. But now there's not very normal to have these extremely deep bad bear markets. So I'm not going to show you any of my cycles because none of them are working. It's just extreme. Here I'm having the number of the trading days above the 35-day moving average, and there's just a handful of occurrences the past 70 years that we have been this long above the 35-day moving average. And normally, this happens early or in the middle of a bull market. Like here 2006, here beginning of a strong bull market, and here beginning of a bull market, 1958 something, beginning of a bull market. Normally this bullish action happens in the beginning, the early phase of a bull market. But then you have this one, 2008, 17, 18, no, 17. You see that happened at the blow-off top. And also this one in 1980, that was very close to call it a blow-off top. And this one in 1982, 83, not quite as overbought, but still. So normally this bullish action happens early or in the middle of a bull market, but it also can happen at or close to the end of a bull market. Now I have another indicator. These are number of days that that we have been in an extremely overbought situation. Currently we are over 80 trading days in this situation, and going back, you see this one happened in the beginning of a bull market. Then we had this extremely bullish one starting a strong rally from 2006 and ending in 2007. And we have this one around 2014 or 13, I think, in the middle of a strong bull market, just finally making all-time highs here after waiting 15 years. Then we have this one, that was, in fact, I think that was the previous Trump election. So we rallied after the first Trump victory, and it was, anyway, it was in the starting of the phase of a new 3.5-year cycle. And then we have this one ending a euphoric blow-off top, and this one ending just before the COVID crash. And we have here in 2023, 24, extremely bullish run after this long correction. So again, extremely overbought. Normally that happens in a bullish environment, but it can be very close to a bull market high, which I think we are. But have my analogs. After a failed bearish breakdown, we have an extension of the bull market of about 6 months or a little bit more. And these are my analogs, and I was favoring this 1965 analog, but we should have made this correction. I was waiting for the August correction. No, it shifted to the September correction. No, we are not getting a September correction either, and it's starting to look more like these shorter bullish extensions, which could suggest a top is 1-2 weeks away. And there was a change, when we have this low volatility, it's really difficult to interpret the oscillations. But right now, this is very similar to what we have had in 2017. The correction and this oscillation, now this one, and it's very similar to where we are now. But I would at least expect some kind of a double top here. So we just have to wait and see. Market is so bullish, and we have no signs of weakness, so we have to wait for some signs.